Hi, my name's John Fulton. I'm going to be talking about one of the several nitrogen projects reported in the 2019 eFields report. This specific project deals with nitrogen placement during late season. You can find the information regarding this multi-year project on pages 52 through 55 of the 2019 report. For this project, this was conducted in Clark County, Ohio. Our primary intent was to evaluate in placement options and the potential impact they may have on corn yield using a late season application. A little bit of information about the project. We planted somewhere between 33 to 34,000. These were done in 40-foot plots with the center of those plots harvested for yield data. You can see weather and other information regarding the site and by year on pages 53 through 55. Our treatments for this were basically four. Our first one was standard practice, again, used at this farm and relatively locally. That's 180 pounds of N per acre applied over the season. For this one, we either did that at planting or planting and side dress as a split application. For our late season treatments, we put 100 pounds of nitrogen on up front, and the balance of that was put on late season at 80 pounds of nitrogen using 28%. Depending on weather and field conditions, we got back in the corn somewhere between V14 and the R stage. For the three treatments, we did a colder, essentially injected between the rows 2 to 4 inches. We did a wide drops or NutriBoss, which essentially is a surface application next to the roots. The NutriBoss is a New Holland product by CNH, and the wide drops is a 360 Yield Center product. Our fourth and final one was a center drop or drop tubes, essentially a surface applied between the rows. Here's kind of an example of our setups. The top is treatment 2 with our colders. Again, a colder with injecting that 2 to 4 inches behind that in that slit. The bottom was a wide drop example, but at the same time we used NutriBoss for a couple years during this. Our final one was the center drop or drop tubes. Essentially, we just tied those tubes together, or hoses, on the NutriBoss or wide drops, and then dribbled that nitrogen down the center of that row. This is kind of an example of what we got. On the left is the drop tube. Again, you can see it dribbled right down the center. Between the corn rows, the center was colder injected. You can see very clearly that slit opened up, and then that nitrogen injected roughly 2 to 4 inches. And then on the right side would be the results from a NutriBoss or wide drop, placing that next to the rows. Just some costs provided, that we did not provide economics as a part of the analysis of this project. Talking about results, on the left side, again, you see our treatments and when that nitrogen was applied. And then in the center part here, we see 16, 17, and 18 yield data, along with the 3-year running average. Looking at 16, you can see a significant yield advantage in 2016 with the colder or the NutriBoss / wide drop placement. We also saw a significant difference, very similar to basically the same results in 2017, again, where the colder and NutriBoss or wide drop gave a yield advantage over the standard practice or center drop. However, when we got to 18, there was no significant yield difference between the 4 treatments. I'd encourage you to learn more about what happened on a year-by-year basis, looking at the weather information, in particular the rain and temperatures, and also planting date and harvest date to understand maybe why some of those differences were seen or did seen, like in the year of 2018. Looking at the 3-year average, when we run the statistics, there was no statistical difference between the 4 different treatments. However, definitely a trend where the colder and basically placing that next to the roots in a late season provided a yield advantage. Also provided some nitrogen use efficiency numbers on the right side there. Conclusions from this: though there was no statistical difference over the 3 years between the 4 treatments, well, we did find 2 of the 3 years where the colder and the wide drop or NutriBoss provided significant yield response over the standard or the center drop tube. 22 bushels and 16 approximately advantage, 15 bushel an acre advantage in 17, and again, none in 18, but definitely a trend that we saw in this project. Thank you.